Welcome back to Puddins.fab Shop, and this week we are on my Loadstar project. Several of y'all know this is my dream build, International Loadstar, 1-ton chassis, wide-end control arms, damn old 12 valve with the turbo spinning machine in her, baby. Well, this go around, I don't know what all we're getting done. I can tell you what we got. We've got AC parts. We've got charge pipe parts. We've got gauges, radio, wiper motor. And with this truck, none of that just simply bolts in. We got to make it all work. So I'm going to start on the inside. This was a little AC mock-up unit we used. And when we did all of our fancy sheet metal work, the goal is to kind of hit center right there where that hole is drilled. Well, this one right here, she ain't mock-up. This is the real deal. She's gonna be a tight fit in there. Just a little bit, That's why they call me Little Stubby Wubby. I heard he had that nickname before the steering column. I need to pull this dash anyhow. Look at that. I done boogered up our control panel here. That's because even though I cut all them cables, they're hitting the great firewall of Pot County right there and shoving that out, which ain't no good. Short-winded bolts I used, I see. Let's start just with some eyeballing. Kind of eyeball that those should hit right in there. Ooh, I'll be honest, that does not look good. Not looking good here. Because if that was there, we can't go forward any. I have to be plumb over there. Now, that's, I mean, it is what it is. We can't change it. All we can do is figure out how to make it work. I'll tell you it's annoying, and here's why. This is supposed to be the mock-up unit to this. Anywhere on this mock-up unit, do we see this? Oh, no, we don't. But that hangs over an inch out past the end of this. So maybe it's important. Yeah, Hurricane, maybe it is. Why I oughta, just playing. Control the emotions. Exhale. Put one foot up Hurricane's butt. All right, and we're done. Void if removed. I got a void for you. No, I don't want you to go to Hurricane and bite people yet. Let's just start with a measurement going right there to over there. 14 3/16. Up there at the firewall, no chance. About right there. What the heck, over? That goes and lays flush on the firewall. That old air products is why including everything on a mock-up unit could be important, so we could mock up and see if it could possibly work for us without having to buy the system to then see it's not gonna work for us. You know, very minor details. You ain't gonna paint a turd yellow and expect it to taste like a banana. I don't know that that made any sense with what I'm venting about, but I stand by it. So I think we need to drill this. And there's two things that's gonna have to change. One, I ordered it with this defrost kicking out to the side instead of out of the top. And I don't know why I did that. That don't concern me too much because we can trim this end down. We can glue in a piece of plastic and glue in two outputs to our defrost. Not really a big deal there. That's easy peasy. A little RTV, a little I don't give a damn, and some tools will have her fixed up. Clearing for this little servo motor or whatever it is. I think over here we're gonna end up having to cut our doghouse and then obviously just work the sheet metal in a way where this can clear and fit in there. It just is what it is. I wanted to play no games. 2 5/8, we need a 3-inch hole. Coming up short. All right, little Big Bertha carbide on her. Dang, I was doing some decent welding that day. Shoot. Yeah, well, sometimes I pretend like I know what I'm doing. So now I gotta kind of hit the hole. There's all the way down. There's all the way up, all the way down. So maybe we mark this thing at the lowest point over here, and then towards the highest. That's weird, Hurricane. Your Velcro's breaking again. Hurricane. Hurricane indicates force, fury, sturdiness. We might as well call that thing dang water gun. Oh yeah, I'm fired up on them now. They done messed up. I think the easiest thing to do would be give us a couple relief cuts where this piece can just shove over. And there is room back there. We may have to re-index that V-band, but it does look like we got room. Probably something about like that. That's what we're after. We are starting to hit that V-band. Not a real big deal right now. In fact, even closing this in really isn't that big of a deal because it'll be much easier to do when this cab's pulled. We've got areas and corners we've got to finish out. But really just each corner and then that before we'd put, you know, insulation and paint, all that. So that won't be too bad. If that's all it needs. That was wishful thinking. We're gonna have to rework this for certain. Every time I turn that defrost on, we get plastic out of it for some strange reason. Trimmed a little more off the top because that thing's kind of clocked up and it needed it. And I came back like another 3/4 of an inch. And obviously I just cut the chunk out. We're getting there. I think we're at a good place to start building our mount. We may have to do a little fine tuning over there. The best I can tell roughly, if we could stand off the firewall back 2 inches, that's gonna help us just create clearance from not trying to go completely flush up there. Just kind of is what it is. Now here's the great flimsy mounting system. And it would probably be fine for this if you could get all the way flat. I'm assuming that goes there where you've got adjustability on it. That's gonna hold most of your weight, and then that's to kind of keep it from bouncing and you can stabilize it. None of this is gonna work for us. To come 2 inches off, I was gonna use something like that, but I don't like that because it really don't help distribute the load on this thing and everything. And then I realized I have some 2-inch angle iron, and that right there is gonna be nice and strong. Angle iron don't belong on most custom vehicle builds, but for a bracket that's hidden behind something on a firewall, I think she's fine. All the angle iron builders right now are like, the hell's he talking about? I use angle iron all the time. All right, we're just gonna do a little eyeballing. I'm gonna drop that down past that just a hair, and then I'm gonna come up past the top of that just a hair, and that's where I wanna cut it. Just a hair technique ain't failed me yet. No more eyeballing. Whoop! Whoop! Cut us another piece, drilled the hole so we can sit that right in there. Check our fit. Oh, that's money. Not bad for eagle eye. Tab on there. Eagle eye for a little levelness, little evenness, little evensness. kind of eyeballed us a hole off to the side on the bracket. I did want to make sure to not drill where our bead roll is. And this bracket, 2 inches is probably too much. We probably could have stood off, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 1 5/8. But it does look like we're going to have plenty of clearance over here, which is good. No more cutting required. All in all, it looks really good right there. So out here we'll have 1 bolt going through, but I don't think that'll look bad. We're not trying to build a show truck here. I wasn't sure how we'd hit on our hole, so we're actually would kind of be like that. So we may not be good quite yet. Except these are just aluminum lines. So I kind of bent on them, so they're centered up now. Honestly, I think 1 good bolt up there is going to hold this. And we may size it up to a 3/8 bolt instead of just 1/4 inch. And when it's tightened down, it already don't wiggle or shake or nothing. And down here, we'll be able to add a tab on the bottom off the angle iron to the toe board. That'll really stabilize her. So I whipped this up a little tab. Nothing special. And my hope here is it'll wedge where I cut that angle iron at an angle, which it is. Something about like so. With her welded out, you want to make her fancy, you better get to slicing and dicing and rounding some corners. Next, we're going to paint her. Psych! Next, we got to mark where our holes need to be drilled. The third hole is for our drain. There we go, guys. We are solid. Those aren't tight down, but as soon as they are, we won't have no problem. Bracket's easy to get to. And look how lucky we got it underneath here. Probably hard to see, but our bolts tuck up there in a good spot in the fender well, and that drain's really close to that flap over there, but it don't hit. So all of that's hid behind there. So out of all that, we've got that, and then our 1 bolt up there. I ain't mad at it. Woo! Check her out. Should clear our dash, our brackets for it's way up there. It's gonna give us plenty of room to run our hoses, especially once we do the top defrost conversion kit. And I may have complained about that servo hanging off the side and whatever, but in reality, I'm actually super happy they made this, because it was about the only one on the market that could possibly fit right there in that tiny area. Looks good. Before we test fit our dash anymore for clearance, we're gonna strip her down some. These gauges got some weight to them. I ain't decided what we're gonna do here. We could obviously just shave these holes. Problem is, I think doing that much welding on it, we're probably gonna warp this thing. Problem with just cutting out a new one is it does have a nice little rolled edge on it. Oh, I bent her up good, didn't I? Woo! You know, in my line of business, we don't need a lot of miniature screwdrivers. But every once in a while, you get to use the precision set here. And I'm known for my precision. Yeah! This set screw, for some reason, is a little Phillips head, where all the others have been Allen heads. All right, we can put this set up. We'll use it in about 2.5 years again. Give me some of that good old swamp water. Now my radio here's got me bamboozled. Radio. My name Radio. Y'all remember that movie? I see hardware coming through the front to the back. So is this just a little trim plate? So if you pop your knobs, then you can grab your nuts Give them a turn. And that's what's holding on our front face. Then that 400-pound radio will be held in with some screws behind that. If you're gonna take you a Loadstar dash apart, you better just get you a good pair of pliers. Oh yeah, there she is. Dang. Now I'll be honest, with the whole radio situation, I love the way that radio looks in the dash. It almost looks like it belongs there. I've bought those retro sound radios, put in Dad's truck, put one in Randy's truck. I'm not impressed with them. And I have a buddy who likes sound system stuff. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I've wired the speakers the way he recommends, and he swears by them, and I swear they sound like a stock radio speaker or whatever. I'm not impressed one bit, and they're damn expensive. So I bought this. You get these on Amazon for like 20 bucks, and even cheaper if you want a more simple one. This one has the frequency and volume for a subwoofer, treble and bass just for your regular old speakers, and then your overall volume. And it's just those knobs right there. Now I don't mind these in the Loadstar because they kind of look like kind of reminds me of almost like CB radio knobs or something, you know what I mean? In fact, if I had it my way, this dash would just look about as factory as it could look. So that's the influence we're after. Let's look at our electronic controls for the first time. That's the damn triple thermostat rheostat. That's what turns on the snowflake machine. Been curious, those are a push to fit. I know having these goofy looking knobs in my dash would look very factory. However, what I was hoping was we could maybe make these factory ones work, which looks like gonna take a little custom machine work, but I bet we can get it done. So that's good. So out of curiosity, I started looking around through the other Loadstars I got. Kind of interesting. I don't know how many different combos they put in these suckers, but there's a lot of them. So this one has a gauge panel that goes in there, and no tack, but it's got the gauges laid out in a different way. This is a good truck. I don't want to take it apart anyhow. But come down here and look at this one, and Theo couldn't believe it. He had to come show y'all. It's got the same style, and it does have a panel, much like ours, that's not tore up like ours is. Oh, did a bird get in here and give us some dookie droppings? Not cool, bird. Not cool. I'll take that. Rat poop and ants. My two favorite things to lay in. All we're missing now is a snake coming out from somewhere. That'd just be the cherry on top. Luckily, did not get bit. I did find us a clipboard to lay on. Oh, gonna be a little pain in the booty, huh? Nuts want to strip, don't want to back off, don't want to let these old gauges out. Got something for you. Think she used to have the push start added. Maybe the air horn. She was fancy. Had the stick-on chrome from the factory. Look at these goofy things. Wonder if these came factory or not. I like them. They're pretty cool. I think we could have possibly put them in a little bit better spot, but I don't know. Somewhere down in here, not so boom up in your face, but there they are. Check brake fluids. The dash is one of the very few things on this build that's getting stripped down and painted actually, so don't worry about my custom body work going on here. Left, are you kidding me, man? You serious right now? That's what Hot Rod said when she was little. You mean the one on the left side is for the left, and the one on the right side is for the right? With that stripped down, if you watch the second channel, then you may have seen my gauge set. If you haven't, well, here she is. These are just jegs, gauges. I like them because they're old school looking, simple. Don't look like they belong to the Elon Musk
most latest creation, futuristic spaceship, digital displays, blah, blah, blah. Those are some big mamas. So I don't know this is gonna work actually. If I'm being honest, I'm not too concerned about a tack. I don't have a tack in anything I own, and I ain't ever really felt like, oh, I really need one now. I'm playing with it here, and that just, never mind, that did not sound. Anyhow, I just done that with the piece of cardboard that came in. I just kind of put that straight edge there. I ran this edge up till it hit that green lens. I put a reference mark on it. I traced it out. I flipped it over, moved our reference mark to the back side, moved it up till it hit, put the edge up there, trace this out, and it does look like it can fit. We may need to move these, which I'm okay with anyhow. Go ahead and strip her down where we can see our mark better. We're gonna plug them holes first, check our hole size, bloop, cut you out some plugs. Little roll like wing, wing, wing. Then take a Scotch-Brite. And then the DA. Wom, wom, wom. Building us a die here. I got this from my press. Trying to smooth her up in the edges where we don't mark up her metal. Unfortunately, welding that, once it shrinks, she's oil cannon. So I ground down the welds on the back side, and we're gonna put it down on this and hammer it on the back side. The goal being to stretch that area out some. Took the oil can out. She's got a little curve to her, but when she mounts, that'll flatten out. At least now it ain't going dong, 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 dong. Now, what's the best way to put a big old hole in this thing? I don't know. We're going to try the body saw. This is thin sheet metal. It's already worn before we got a hold of it. Well, flimsy, I guess I should say. What we're about to do ain't going to help it none. We're going to be careful here. I can already tell that ain't going to work. I can't hold it good enough and make the circle. Shavings, get your metal shavings. You'll be pulling them out of your arms and fingers and everything else. You don't put some layers on. She fits. Tachometer fits. Next, we'll get this all mocked up, guys. Did all that work. I know it don't seem like that much, but it's taken a while. And we may not like it. Let's get her mocked up and actually put our dash over here. I'm all put in. Pretty happy with how it looks right here. I did, apparently when I cut the tabs off the back of this, the sparks had to been aimed at that because it kind of, yeah, I messed her up. She's boogered up. It's the only thing I cut over here. So, that's nice. I don't know if you can get replacement ones or if you've got to buy the entire set. Dang! I think we did pretty good on that. Like I said, a somewhat factory look. You can definitely tell it's aftermarket, but nothing too crazy, too futuristic there. And it fits like a charm. As much as I want to add those big ones, they're just too big and bulky. We may just go for like a little LED indicator. I put those on the travel. They're pretty low profile. You really don't even notice them. You can almost put them, like if we were to go right here, they'll almost blend in, kind of like the screws being evenly spaced type thing. not really. It's not gonna look like a screw at all. It's gonna look like a green LED for a blinker. Well, I was really trying to sell that one. And brake. Let her cool off a little bit. Think about how she's acting. That piece had done really good about not oil canning until I ground down the backside, and then I guess that finally heated them up again and shrunk them again to now. There we go. Just hammer on it again in all those spots, and look, she's back flat. No more dungy. Take your oversized roll lock and cut her to a triangle. That'll allow you to get into some of them corners and stuff. And I'll take a good piece here. Oh, hand sander, son. Nice little brush finish into them corners. Still laying nice and flat here. It looks pretty good. Now we're gonna try just going right down the middle of this. 1 inch and 3/16. We're gonna hope there's room for all 4 switches. We're gonna have to get a little more accurate than that. Golly, I know, use the crooked cardboard. That'll increase your accuracy by 0.2 percentages. Slow and steady with that old stepper. We don't want to get carried away. Look at this monster. Oh, it's gonna fit though. Check that out. I think it's gonna work. Yes. Thought she was spanking me, but I'm spanking it. Ooh, ah. I'm trying to figure out if we're gonna have to cut out some of this dash because of that big old thingy. And believe it or not, I do not think so. I think we'll just have to install this last. Looky there. Almost like we knew what we were doing. So we'll just slap these on for now to get an idea what she'd look like. We'd need to run that one in a little more. Well, that's looking pretty awesome. I actually don't just hate those. Now that I know the way this all mounts up, I'm not scared. We're gonna pull this radio. And we're gonna explore some options. In my C900, because it was taking up too much room back there, I took the thing and I basically cut it right there, and I cut all the boards, and then when these started falling out, I welded them back in, and the whole radio stays in that one as a dummy. And if you thought it was the factory radio, then you fell for it, dummy. All right, I know that wasn't funny. Or was that? I marked this all the way around. Let's try something similar on this and see what happens. There we go. That's gonna shed some weight. So it's good about doing it like that. We haven't touched our brackets. All this would mount the same. We have these for that cover plate. That's kind of the goal. It's also kind of cool to see the mechanics of one of these bad girls. See how when you spin that, you're turning all these gears and everything. It's crazy. So I'm curious if we can take out this mechanism, which just mounts through there. So that shouldn't be too big of a deal. We'd have to put this back because it just looks good in there. Of course, we could clean this all up. I'm wondering if we can pull this mechanism and then trim out this bottom piece and put that thing I have in where these push buttons are, would be our round knobs, and we could almost blend it. Blend it! Well, I can't think of a time I've ever really needed a 3/16 socket. Look how they got it slotted to the side where that needle can pass through, where you can get that apart. That's cool. That retains with the clip, so we don't lose that. This one's a actual potentiometer of some sort of another. Well, I don't know. It's got a lot going on there. Either way, we're doing good so far. Got to widen this sucker out and create some clearance. This piece is screwed down here. Of course, we just widened that, so that's gone. So I put a couple tacks on the back side. This is the backdrop to our clear piece. So this is where our pointer needs to be. Well, since we extended that wire and that works, if we ever need to change that bulb, we don't want this in the way. So I got an idea here. What if we simply cut that and then basically crimp it to this piece? Something like that. The spring-loaded clips hold our glass on that piece, so we want to really get that shined up. I cleaned up all that other stuff too, by the way. Oh, look how cool that looks. Oopsie dang it. We need to get that flush right in there. So I had to do some trimming. This radio comes with a little backer plate that goes on the top, so I installed that brass piece with that, thinking we could attach to it. So you can see I just bent up a piece of scrap off the table here, eagle-eyed all those bends. Look how perfect that is. Can't be mad at it. Well, when I tacked those on, apparently I blew that board out. That'll do it. So I'll get another one of these on order. My plan is just put a couple screws in there because there ain't nothing on this side, so as long as we use little short screws, we should be fine. For now, since I done burnt this one up, I'm just gonna Gorilla Tape it here. It actually holds in place really nice as is. We may Gorilla Tape the permanent one, who knows? All right, there's kind of what we're after. Oh, except I done taped her in crooked, dang it. Oh, it's gonna be close. We may have to do a little trimming. Ain't gonna lie, Mama didn't raise no punk, but I got a little scared on trying to trim that. I knew it'd get sloppy. Then I thought, well, why don't I just slide this out? Because it sits on that flat surface. So that's what I did. And check this out. Oh, that is gonna work, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, I've centered that all up so good, it don't even look bad. It looks like it's supposed to be there. Take us a little cleaner and some steel wool on our knobs. Since everything else is cleaned up, she may want a little spit shine in her life. She's gonna need a little more. She might benefit from some brushing, because that's ribbed. Get that brush in there and get all them, oh, get them clunks out of there. Chunks and clunks of years of dirt and grease and grime. And it's 7 o'clock already, so we ain't gonna spend too much time on these. But what an awesome way to end the day. I'll be honest, I didn't think we were gonna really be able to figure out a solution for this bad girl. Not quite like this. Woo! Guys, that is awesome. And the really cool part about it is, if this does suck or it does go bad, now that we know how this installs, we've got options. Our only slight, maybe a possible issue is if this is too deep where it hits the great firewall of Pot County in there, which we hope not. I think it's gonna be okay. How stinking cool is this setup right here? Looking pretty factory-ish. All right, we're not looking like a spaceship. Hell yeah. Morning. This morning we're gonna build a circuit board to operate these dash controls. Just playing. Last week when we worked on the S10 at the very end, it was having some issues, and I found those relays that were soldered in. I got some of these ordered. I made it to the point where this is sidetracked. But if I don't fix it and it don't get fixed, then it can't be driven, which defeats the purpose of last week. And made it to a point where instead of cutting the output to cut it off, I cut the input, and still with the 12 volt wire that should pull in the coil cut, the relay was staying closed where it could output, meaning inside that relay had to be stuck. Coil was stuck, contacts were stuck, something was stuck. Well, I'm not gonna wire it into that micro board, and these only come where you can solder them, so I just soldered some wires on, and then we can splice it in over there where I can see if I get my problem fixed or not. She ain't pretty, but she's wired in. Hey, fan shut off. Hey, fan shut off. Hey, fan shut off. It was definitely that relay. But what do I know? I'm just a dummy who builds internationals. Quick cleanup of the shop so we can figure out some vents. But first, I want to play with the knobs. Figure out the size of that bad girl. Dang, that was the one I guessed it was. Pretty good guess. Shined up this knob, put that down in there to measure how deep it's going. Because as that drawer's right open over there and I see these calipers there that has this measuring device, that would be way too easy. And I told y'all for these to fit, I was gonna need some custom machine work. What I meant by that was we were gonna run a drill bit down through it. Oh yeah, that'll work. A little looby dooby on this unit. Once you hit your tape, stop. Halt, halt, halt. Who goes there? All right, we're getting ridiculous here. Gotta do 3 more of them. Scrub, 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 scrub. You're trying to save old shiny parts. Quadruple 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Steel wool is your best friend. This is probably too aggressive for shiny parts, but it's all I got. Gotta get in the nooks and crannies. A brass brush would probably be better. A little softer bristle, but I use this one on my teeth every morning, so it's what I got. This is my light duty toothbrush. You should see the heavy duty one for at nighttime at the end of the day. Those are good looking knobs right there. I really like the kind of crossbar styling on these. See, people think builds are about spending money. Hell, people, you know, I still see it. He's changed. Now he's got that YouTube money. Guys, I'll be 100% transparent. If I wanted, I could afford the $300-400 radio to go in here that looks old. Okay, I could afford that. I still prefer to do something cheaper. I'll be honest, if I wanted to have some custom knobs machined, or if I wanted to paid for fancier controls and stuff, honestly with y'all, I could afford it. But what I want is to do exactly what I'm doing, which is use a little creativity instead, which has always been used in some of our builds. And these are gonna look better than any knob we could have got, any control we could have got. That radio still looks pretty stinking factory. We use creativity and a welder to blow apart the circuit board. And to accomplish all of this, we've used a drill, a welder, and a cutoff wheel. It's pretty well what we've been using to do all of this. Those knobs from my beautiful machine work apparently are a little offset. I'm sure they got some play in them, but right now they're not perfectly. That one's pretty round. That one's not. They still look awesome. We've got a good mock-up going. To decide on the vents, I think I want to put this back in the dash, and that'll let us check for clearances too. Baby. Guys, look how good she looks. Oh man, it looked good on the table, but it looks damn good in the truck. Everything clears, nothing's holding the dash anymore. This is back this way, so I'm a little lower than I originally hoped. but we're still gonna have plenty of feet room for the passenger. It don't look bad right there. Looks like we'll have plenty of room to run all that stuff. But my goodness, does this area look just beautiful.
Hibbity, hibbity.
Now, as easy as these rectangle vents would be to install, for some reason, I just really don't like them. I mean, we could easily cut one in there and there. I think these round ones look a little more classic. Now, if we were to go in the dash, we could almost figure out something to do kind of like that. So the more I look at it, it looks like we've got room in each corner to be able to cut one in. We'll need to shave this hole, but no big deal.
So we can't put nothing over here. So I think I'm probably comfortable going about right in there. 21 inches. Check this side.
This is at an angle, and I think we'll be able to make that work. That's gonna kind of kink at the end, but I don't think it'll be too bad. So there we go. That's the plan. I just realized that bead line kind of goes right there, but I think it'll still be fine. That's still a pretty flat area. It'll work or it won't. And we need a 2.5 inch hole. So that's what I got right here. And we're gonna kind of try to stay away from the bottom, not get too close there, stay away from over at the side, just find the sweet spot, which I think is right in there. Draw us a crosshair. And from right where that breaks up is 1 3/8 inches. And straight over is 2 inches. Symmetry, folks. I like symmetry. 1 3/8 inches. 2 inches. Just out of curiosity, what we get off that diagonal corner? 2 11/16. Choo! Woo-hoo! When you're good, you're good. So if we crosshair that, center that up in the crosshairs, how do we look? We look really, really good. Really good all the way around. We're on that body line, so I indented it with our carbide. Here goes nothing. Well, there went something. I bet we lost a little bit of strength out of that corner. Here goes nothing except a bunch of structural integrity. It's all right. If I was a betting man, I'd bet our dash don't just plumb fall apart. Thick metal down there, she's double layered up. Oh yeah, that looks good right there. Dang. Yeah, we like that. She's a little stiff because she's new. We'll eyeball that one, then we'll measure down, and then over here, we'll do the exact same thing. Oh yeah, that should set our gap from like that opening down to that the same. That being said, I don't know if it's the same, but it sure looks the same. Oh, she's the same. Everyone knows some good carbide work is done with proper things. You gotta get them hips spread and lean into that sucker. It's gonna offer some stabilization. And then, like a great artist, you just paint that mural. And because that goes down at an angle, we lose some of our true circle shape, so we gotta take a little extra. And on this, there's a lip up in there that's broke over from the edge in there. Gotta take some of it off too. But you grind enough and you'll get her. See, we've got clearance over here. Over here we're hitting, so I need to take a little more, probably off those little corners right there where this can drop a hair. I'm gonna tape up this side and try to make us a template of what we are somewhat after. Oh yeah, we're pretty close. A little fine tuning and that should click right into place. And actually, before we weld that, better just go ahead and trace us another one for the other one. I also want to set this down flat where it ain't tweaking on it somehow. A good body hammer's key to proper sheet metal work. That was a lot more work than I showed, and I still got one to go. I'm gonna have to eat first. I guarantee it's past lunchtime already. And it ain't perfect, but it is ready for a little bit of body filler on it to smooth that out. And yeah, you still won't see it, but if you ever happen to look underneath there, it'll look a lot better than being open. And I still don't absolutely love these in here, but for all the style events available and what we've got going, I do think this is our best option. Well, let's just keep this little modern update party going. Right here we've got the voltmeter, USB plus PD. I don't know what any of it means. I just know you hook 12 volts to it and then you've got a charger. We have the old ashtray sitting right up here, just begging for a charge port. All we need to do is cut us a piece of sheet metal that can fit in here. Something pretty simple, about like that. Holy guacamole. I've kind of set it at an angle on purpose. I want to make sure this can actually go down in there. We got to cut out the bottom anyhow. Right there's the good golden spot. Drilling a holes for sissies. How did I just cut that so perfect with no marks? I don't know. I bet that'll make wiring it in a little easier. Ground down our welds in there. Not the prettiest thing. We could hooky puck it if we wanted to. Ooh, looky there. Just enough clearance. Get our jam nut on. That just pops back in the dash. Oh baby, check that out. If we need to charge, throw it on the dash if you want. Throw it down here in the future cup holder. That right there is like a piece of grandma's homemade pie. Freaking sweet. Woo, that's a good cup holder right there. So since we've kind of been on an accessory kick here, let's work on that cup holder. Now I told y'all this thing's gonna get plumb covered in carpet. So I wanted to figure out a cup holder that could bolt to this to help break up some of the carpet there. These are the cups I have a lot, so we'd want to do it in a way where it can hold one of them. The problem is, yeah, anyhow, that ain't gonna be fun to stare at and figure out. I look at it with my good eye and see if I can't get a solution going. If that is there, yeah, you can get it out. I guess that's about our only option. About 4 1/8. So we probably want to do the top about 9 inch. Oh yeah, 9 inch looks to be about the perfect width. Could go 10 inch. We're gonna go 9 1/2 by 4 3/4. Flip these upside down. Kind of help me picture it in my head. I think we're doing pretty good. But wait, there's more. That's not gonna look good unless we go wider, so let's take it to the 10 inch. Try again. Actually, 9 1/2 will probably be just fine. Just the 8 1/2 I originally marked ain't enough. Well, I thought that looked like it was getting a little too tight with them cup holders. I think we all know an extra inch would go a long ways. There we go. That looks sharp. Best radius tool they ever made. This piece is 4 inches, a little bigger than our cup holder. Boom, another 4-incher. Boom, boom, cut 2 of them. May have forgot to clean the sharp edges off of this one. I made sure these match. I got them labeled AA, BB. So let's see what it's gonna take to put them how we want them. Plan is to do that. Then we'll put that in the middle, and then this on top, and then we'll wrap this. That's why I want some strength in it, so we can bend a piece around that, hopefully. I mean, we'll bend it some before, you'll see. You'll see. Shoo, not bad for eyeballing. 4 3/4 will be the middle. Just adding that one brace in there, we're gonna add a ton of strength. Set our top piece on. Trying to create a little overlapping corner joint-ish type. Make sure that overlaps the top. We go corner to corner. Let's see what happens. Just as we slide that in. And touch. Whoo! Pretty stinking close. Oh, this side was not as good. You go that way just a hair. I think that'll work. Push pressure where it don't move. Three and 15/16 inside to inside. Oh yeah, we're sitting good. Woohoo! Now we're gonna have to cut another 4-inch piece. But this time we need it this length. Let's go 17.5. This is gonna be the top. If we go 1.25 inches down with a 1/2 inch wide bead, then from there we'd come 1.25 inches up with a 1/2 inch wide bead. It's gonna give us 1 inch between our beads and also 1 inch between there, so that's perfect. We did do the 1/2 inch beads in our floor in there, you may have noticed. Obviously we won't see those when there's carpet in. However, our seat pans have the 1/2 inch beads, so we will see them. 8 3/4 will be the center. And from there, we'll go 7.5 from the center out. That's where we want our beads to stop. Gotta use your muscles and be stable. You want to tense up where you're not shaky. Like right now. Oh yeah. Nice and calm. Nice and calm. Oh. Alright. Here's one. Did pretty good on staying on, I think. Dang. Y'all see how strong I am? Apparently when I smacked that thing a minute ago, I done snapped a couple tack welds. Buy Bailey Industrial. Definitely worth the money. Bailey Industrial uses only the oldest of teenagers in China to do their tack welds on their very cheap upgrade table. Our end's a little flexed here. Let's give her some tappy-tappies. Eyebrows into the arm swing. That's a new one. Some of y'all seen that and thought I cut that baby short and thought I was a dummy.
Y'all were playing checkers, I was playing chess. So I knew I was gonna beat roll that. And once we line that up there, the amount I guessed is just perfect. Everything just touches in there beautiful. Top, line everything up so we're touching the middle. I think it's time to tack it, guys. Woo! Middle marks are touching perfect. We'll get us 3 tacks on each side. Now we get to kind of figure out how well is this gonna bend. I knew with the beads it was gonna fight us some. So now like this bottom piece, it's trying to pop over, but we need that to be able to actually make this bend. So once we bend her a little bit like that, we've got a tacker. Now we gotta be careful because I've been known to break a tack weld or two with this pure raw strength. Yeah. No. Dang you. All right, we are tacked and bent around. That corner kind of got away from me, but I got it. I got a joke for you. How come the sheet metal welder never told jokes? Because they're always too tacky. Then I would tack 500 miles in. I will tack 500 more. Beat a beat pop boop. Beat a beat 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 pop pop. Beat a pop pop boop. Woo! 3 hours later. Give me 3 more hours, I have her ground down. Few of them, and she's ready for the old DA here. Be sure to work down in that bead. Get her scuffed up some too. And there we go. There's our shape. There's our box. Obviously ain't got no holes in it. Ain't got no way to mount it. It's a lot of work just to get to this point. This is why all the old timers used to build their cup holders out of wood instead of metal. If we were doing them out of wood, we'd have done built 3 of them already. Oh yeah. Yeah. Which one of y'all did it? Which one of y'all called the inspector on me? What do you mean you're here to check all fire extinguishers and all my credentials, sir? Hey, you can't assault me. You can't assault me for not having proper fire extinguishers. I will call your boss. Help! Help! Do a little measuring. It's time to punch some holes. Come on, D-Walt. I think every video y'all watch now, piece of my D-Walt equipment falls apart. I didn't want to fling cutting oil all over this, but I think we're gonna have to. Oh, don't skip up out of there. World's heaviest cup holder coming right up. Next one, I'm gonna build it out of 1/8 inch. I did not think this through. I'm trying to add all these comforts where I enjoy driving it, but I'm gonna try to force my wife ride in this thing. I should have accounted for this thing to be able to hold that 40-gallon Stanley cup she carries everywhere. I'm like, come on, let's go. I'm ready, got my cup and my straw. My wife drinks out of something about the size of this. Hey, inspector, you wanna check this one?
Dang, that looks good. To mount it, we're gonna do some slots on the back side. Keep stepping out our hole sizes here. Top ones are done, going to a 1/4 inch. That's because we're planning on using a 1/4 20 bolt, so we want that exact fit. Ooh, professional-ish. Now inside, we just got to figure out where to put our 2 nut certs. Got my cup from yesterday. Yeah. Oh, Rupert, get me my fancy cup holder. Woo-hoo. I'm not tightening them all the way down because I'll probably end up taking it back out of here. Guys, that looks awesome. I am not mad at that bad girl right there. Let's give her the test here. That's perfect. That is perfect. I'm a whipping booty robot because the inside of this thing, I'm whipping its booty. Golly. That's just turning out so much better than I imagined in my head, guys. I want to see our interior put back together now. And this old seat's just been plumb filthy. So obviously it's got to be redone. But we're going to try to class her up a little bit. Get some of the stank off of it. Let's take her for a test. Slide up inside this rig. Oh, we'll be able to drop this down. Here's our keel. This big hole will probably end up going ignition switch right there, or we may shave it and then take this one out to the ignition switch here. And then we've got 2 more holes. One will be for headlight, one will be for windshield wipers. Speaking of which, we may want to look into that. Guys, everything's really, really good. Like a warm embrace from your mother. It just feels like a soothing hug sitting in old Will Hop Wilma. You get a hug from someone named Will Hop Wilma, I bet you get your back cracked on accident. There ain't gonna be nothing soothing about it. Get over here, give Will Hop a hug, baby. See, when they hug someone named that, they're not gonna give you a hug like that. She's gonna grab that wrist. She's gonna pull in, and she's got energy to dispense because she done had a quadruple biscuit and gravy that morning. Crack! Give you that crack you need. Don't be hugging no one named Will Hop Wilma. Oh, passenger foot room feels pretty good for that big old doghouse. Now you see, I've kind of been curious with how. Well, get up in here, dude. How good does this thing feel?
It's good.
I was so worried with that and that whoever'd be here would just be uncomfortable, and even. All right, Inspector, come on.
I want to ride.
I said, if we're going for a fake ride, I'm going too.
As long as you take me somewhere. That's all we need.
That's all we need, baby. We are ready to roll. Slick had to check the progress real quick. I'm just trying to rack my brain, guys. What else could we need to add? What else? And I'm glad this has kind of worked out the way it did, because I've got a what else. I was thinking, man, we should have built a glove box liner out of metal. And now I'm glad we didn't, because I would not have thought to account for that lip hanging down. We would have built it, went to put it in, and then it would have hit and we would have had to redo it. So thank goodness we didn't. I'd like to build some type of compartment to go in here where we can keep our essentials, extra fuses, insurance papers, registration, napkins for them big buggies. I'm a truck driver now, baby. You know I'm gonna have them big green slimy boogies, okay? So we need that. And then I'm looking at this area. And this is where your fuse panel used to go on the International Loadstar, and it would just bolt in there. We don't have to put anything there, but I got to thinking,
And I want everything from the dash quick release so we can get to the top of this in case we ever got to do maintenance in the future. We could build a panel that screws into here. And I'm like, but where are we going to put there? And then I remembered, I've got to do something for our helper bag controls. We've got helper bags front and rear. So they make this digital display that's a little screen that could fit right there. And it outputs 5 pressures. One in the center is your tank pressure, and then top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. And those are obviously your airbag displays. And then we'll need 4 switches to be able to increase that. So I don't have the stuff to do that now. But in the future, that's what we're going to make screw in here. And that'll be nice because it can all attach to that panel. If we want to remove this, remove 4 screws. That piece removes, stays with the wiring, blah, blah, blah. This has just worked out phenomenal. Everything had to go in here. I just didn't think it was going to go in this easy and be this discreet. And that's it, guys. I can't think of nothing else. So we need to build a glove box liner. And I've mentioned something about, what do you call them? Oh, the wiper. Well, I don't know if this windshield wiper motor works or not. If it does, that's great. If it don't, I guess we could always try to find one. I'll tell you what I've always done on my other internationals is upgrade that wiper motor as well to something I know we can get parts for. So right here is a replacement motor for a Jeep. These are a 2-speed where they're, you know, maybe not the greatest, but a lot of the old stuff's just a 1-speed. For the Travelall and my truck, they actually attach and the mechanism's totally different. So it lays out very similar on them. On this one, you can kind of see it's still just a gearbox with a motor. So as far as making this work on this, I don't think that portion will be too bad. It's the whole interlock type situation to the wiper mechanism that I'm very uncertain about. Sporty Spice come over to check out the interior. She loves how it's looking. She really don't care, but she did say it's turning out nice. So at least she's playing along with my car habit. I do appreciate that. Give me another one of them kicks.
What?
Give me another one of them kicks. Stretch it out. From this mounting flange to the outside of the coupler is 3/8 of an inch. So from this flange to the outside of that one is a 1/2 inch, but that's good. Okay. All right. My concerns were originally that snout was so long compared to this one, but this stands off of that. So what really matters is this backside to the coupler. I think we can make something work. I ponder, does this come off of there? It should. Take my dang-do claw hammer. No, I said it should. I didn't say it does. Get you a cutting device. Dang. The problem here is I don't have this exactly in the middle, and I can see where that was put through at one point, but it's almost like it's welded. So that piece, it's kind of, what do you call that, knurled, almost splined-ish, but it's also on a taper, so as you tighten that down into it. Anyhow, our other piece, I cleaned it up to the outside of that circle the best I could. And if that hole was a little bigger, it could actually press onto that. I don't feel like we got much to lose here. Except the drill bit, because that metal's hard, whatever it is. That drill bit wouldn't even start to touch that. Trying to put a little bevel on it, where it wants to start to shove down in there about like so.
Oh yeah, she shoved down in there all right. About flush there. That's about how we'd want it as far as the engagement goes. Before, the old one was 3/8 to the outside edge. Exactly off that flange is a 1/2 inch. So if we had a 1/8 inch thick bracket, that's going to give us the 3/8. So now we need to attach this to this with this out of the equation. Bend her up just a hair. I can fix that. Ta-da! So I do think we're going to be able to just put that through there and mount this to this flange. The problem is finding center in that odd shaped thing. So I clamped this back together, putting the centers of the spot welds in the center of the holes. And it actually looks like it favors down a hair and not so much up in the middle of this thing. So with it like that, I took some measurements. I got them on our handy dandy notebook right there. So I have sat this on here, and I have measured from here to the outside edge, from the center up to this, down to the bottom. 4,362 times I adjusted it, and I believe I have it in the sweet spot. It moves very easy. And we've still got to be able to mark it where we actually locate that sweet spot. Ah, and it moved. This is going to be part near impossible. I'm going to kick it off to the end here and try again. This time I'll use the spray paint method. It works 7 out of 10 times. Do a couple through bolts, except that has to go flush. So we got to get rid of the head of those. And we need to take that little bracket off right there. Tack the back, take it apart, tack the front so it holds this. Now we need to cut the backs off, possibly drill down, plug welder on the back. That's what's going to hold it. Flip, flap, attack, attack. Weld this, weld that. I was afraid the pressure of the drill would be too much, so I just put a little dome in there with a carbide. Turn the welder up a hair. I wish it gets a nice little hot zap. Oh yeah. All together, that's what we've got now. I had to flip that because if you just take that bracket off, there's too much space, too many threads on them bolts. Gotta have the fine thread unit. They're on. Looks really good there. It'll look a lot better when that bracket's gone. As far as the orientation goes, I didn't want to clock it up too high because then that bolt would be a pain. I didn't want it too low hanging below this. I think we kind of hit the sweet spot. I forgot that this coupler just has a hole in it on this side, and to retain it, it was the nut on that snout that hung out from the other motor. So I pulled that nut off of ours and then slid this side up on, and I did get it started. That ain't a whole lot of threads holding it though. However, we are hooked up, and those had moved up. Indexing that coupler depends on when the motor's in park and those are parked, so we can adjust that there in the future. Right, different nut there, not with the thick serrated edge. And with the impact, she's parked near flush. I would trust it, especially with a little Loctite. And that ain't something that should be coming apart or back together. I mean, a small chance our motor goes bad. You know, this $19 eBay motor could maybe go bad one day. As a huge surprise to everyone. But what I'm saying is, I'm happy with that. And that was easy enough. Now we're not in the clear yet though. It'd be nice to get this functional. 4-wire hookups, I do believe. It's been a long time since I've wired one of these. Now luckily I keep super accurate wiring diagrams around here. You can only get these on the back of old pizza boxes. I've had this one since about 2018. So I lay it out like that on this. I had 12 volts feeding it on whatever I'd wired up, travel or truck. That's our brown wire, 12 volt power. Then we're going yellow, red, green, white. Yellow, red, green, white. Put our jump pack there to ground. Get our hot on. Here we go.
Go, baby! That's how you scratch up a windshield. Grab another gear. Woo! She's in fast mode. Nice to know that wiring ain't changed all these years. This piece is a little loose. We'll need to fix that. And that looks true enough. It ain't perfect, but this thing's doing pretty stinking good right now. Bum, bum, bum. Another task bites the dust. Bum, bum, bum. Another task bites the dust. Hey, those things are cooking it. Those aren't modern standard up to the current times, but I promise you that's better than what that factory Loadstar motor would have done. Those things are like wang, 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 wang. That motor, I want to say, is around 20, 30 bucks. The switch, same price, maybe a hair more, maybe a hair less, can't remember. Funny enough, you got to buy the nuts and they'll come with these washers separate. All easily under 100 bucks though. And if you've got something oddball they don't really make stuff for, that Jeep wiper motor is very easy to adapt to all kinds of stuff. Now, as far as where do we put it, check that one out. It's exactly what we got right here. That fits like a glove. And it even came with that thingy. That's too big. Maybe this will center it up though. I don't like the washer. We'll ditch the washer. But if we had another one of our set screwed pull knob thingies, boop, we'll be putting that right on there. If it sticks out too far, we can simply cut that down to length. Hot diggity doggy, we done did it again. It's too late in the day to start our charge pipes. It's too early in the day to call it quits. Glove box compartment thingy mabobber it is. Took all of our screws out to get the old, what was left of the cardboard one out. I'm gonna eyeball and just say 11 inches, 5 inches back, 4 inches up, 4 inches forward. So 11 by 13 inches. Sounds like a good reason to me to use up some of our miscellaneous 18 gauge. This is our bottom side, so it needs to be pretty 90. I'd say that's pretty 90. Now the shorter top side don't have to quite be 90. Yeah, something like that-ish. For this, we're kind of using the firing from the hip method, baby. Oh, cat! Where is he? He's slacking. He was just taking a nap. I bet that grinder woke him up. All right, so you're gonna need a little more than that. That bent a little more. We gotta have a notch where that can move forward because of our hinges. Cut in some slots, put her in there, mark where our 2 holes were, and I'm not a sheet metal screw man. Not if I had the choice for nut certs, I'm not. Like me a good old nut cert. Now there is a hole in there. We could have added one, but I think we'll be fine without it. If you know me, you know I love a good nut cert and a good 1/4 button head stainless fastener thingy mabobber. Right here we got the Desperate Man's right angle drill bit. Well, I'll be dang. No problem already. We're gonna hit our defrost vent. We can come forward with it. Something about like so, where at least we can get our ducting on there. Drilled us another hole and marked that. We're gonna add one more nut cert down here on the bottom. And then I did bend on this, so we got about 1/4 inch of clearance back there.
And I think I want to break this up some. We just need to do it once we're past this lip. Right in there. Gotta come over here to Old Faithful for this bend. And that bend ain't super necessary, but when we end cap that and that kind of popping open, it just makes it look like you care. Do you care? Do you? Would have been a little too close to the edge to nutsert, so we just welded a nut. Tomato, tomato. With it pulled out, being extremely careful to not bend it, we just need to build some end caps. I'll probably zip through this because it's more boring sheet metal work. Pretty similar to our cup holder. Just cutting it out, welding it up, smoothing it out. Pretty straight shot. That's it right there. Better turn her down a hair. She's a hair too spicy. I tacked it on, smoothed her down. I didn't fully weld it out, just a few tacks, and then I went around and did some 4-round burst. And because this can be painted black and inside a dash, I'm not so worried about doing a full weld out, smooth out. Now the top's gonna need some support too. I think just one little bracket will do. Now slow down, cowboy, before you saddle up and go to town welding a bracket on or something. This, especially with that bend up, I've got to insert it in there and then turn it and come forward a certain way. If we have a bracket welded up here, it ain't gonna work. So the bracket has to be removable. This install's so easy, now we don't got to worry about stripping out our screws or anything like that. Put it in and out as many times as you want. You ain't gonna tear nothing up. So with our hole drilled there, when I had it out, I went ahead and put a nutsert up there. So now we just got to figure out a bracket where we can put a bolt on there. And then I want a nutsert to the bracket where the bolt goes through this. That way inside there, even though you're gonna see the bracket right there, inside where you reach, there's no thread sticking down in. We're building a classic glove box here, guys. You can't have thread sticking in, okay? What do you think I am, a damn caveman doing his first build? Since she's a single bracket, I'm going with the thick stuff, 1 inch wide, 1/8 inch thick. But that's it. Welded the nut on this one too, so you can see what we got here. Gotta hook it on that back side, drop her into place. Gotta order more of my fancy ones, so just regular 1/4 inch bolt here. And this is my first time to thread it on here, and not to brag, but it looks like I did one heck of a job. That's all she needed to stiffen up, guys. That baby is solid. I like it. I love it. That's enough for the day, guys. Pert near 7 o'clock. We'll be back on her in the morning. I ain't done yet, folks. We're on what you call a roll, baby. Before we start on charge pipes, we gotta take our welder apart again so we can...
For the monthly?
Yeah. We've welded with it for 6 months, so we need to take it apart so we can clean our points. Like it's an old jalopy Model A. About every 10 hours of welding, you gotta clean it or you'll lose your high frequency start and you gotta strike arc it. Same company wants to replace my blue welder that I've never had to work on in 12 years, by the way. When the points are clean, she welds nice. Doing this every 6 months is kind of annoying. It is what it is. I'm sure this is good for it. Now that we got the hood off the old hot rod here, we'll blow the dust off of her and then set her points. Guess a little maintenance is good every once in a few months.
Everlast gonna be calling.
The owner literally called me last time because I talked about how it don't weld worth a damn after 2 hours of use. Offered me a new machine even though mine was out of warranty, which was nice. I'm pretty sure that only happened because I have a platform. And as y'all can see, no, my MIG welder's not replaced with a green one. Oh, there they are. Here's our pesky little boogers right there.
Don't worry, I'll fix it. And the Everlast manual, step 47 of welder maintenance. Deburr the cut.
They for sure gonna call you now.
Slick, you got that blue welder fired up for me?
You ever got the gas on?
Be ready to weld a green one. All right, hot rod welder's back together with the new easy access door panel. Today you can call me Charge Pipe Charlie. We're gonna start up here at the top. And we're getting rid of this whole setup, actually. Woo, fancy. Look at me, Slick. Damn old diesel mechanic now, boy.
Wait, you ain't dirty enough.
First day on the job. I'm new here. Oh!
There's your bolt.
There's that bolt I thought I lost. The great Houdini makes it appear. Oh yeah. All good diesel mechanics know you use your chrome socket on that.
Is that intake air temp maybe?
It must not be important because this don't have one. So whatever it is, we no longer care. R.I.P. She's no longer with us. Get on out there. Better get me a good metal gasket on her. Which way did that thing favor? To the front? Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. Ooh! High performance. No longer having a block heater in there. Or grid heater or whatever you call that thing. I'm not really a diesel guy. So I'm just making this up as we go.
You are now.
Hell yeah! Wonder if Stone Cold drives a diesel.
Maybe we should ask him.
I drive one Cummins. Hell yeah! Cause Stone Cold loves a Dodge, and that's the bottom line. We get done with this build right here, I'll probably 4BT swap my golf cart. She gonna roll cold. All right, I bought this adapter that takes 3.5 inch pipe to it. She's got a port back there for a boost gauge if we want. And I guess since that's all, there'll be a gasket between that. We're not gonna weld that to that. I can put these back on. Now all the other charge pipe is 3 inch. That's what it came with as far as my knowledge. That's what the intercooler is. So we do gotta go from 3.5 to 3 at some point. But then there's the whole, this motor's tucked up pert near to the windshield wiper, AKA the top of the cowl. So we also got a hood to worry about here. So Slick's, I think, been doing some marking down.
Massification.
And that's where we think we can cut it, or then we can set this 3 inch piece on here. We'll kind of clock it where we need it. And then off of this, we can reduce.
Theoretically, it'll work.
It'll work or it won't. So here's my best pro tip on how to build charge pipes. Get you a buddy who's capable, and you just go search Marketplace and do the...
Drop some friends off at the pool.
Yeah, do the number 2. Skibbly do. Yeah, she's looking good. Go find a sweet spot. We're headed down that way, guys. Just so y'all know, I planned on doing all the work. Slick had ended up texting me. I didn't even see it. He showed up because I told him I was building my charge pipes today. So he was ready to help. Now, every time something gets hard, that Slick shows up and saves them. Slick basically built that whole Loadstar. I see the video. For some reason, I'm the trusted eyeball of the operation. That's mistakes number 1 and 2.
I think you had it like one like that.
Oh yeah, I'm getting there. We need to take some out. You can't tell, the real secret is to just clean, clean, clean.
Golly, Tachosaurus Rex over here.
Well, that did start to blow out.
Yeah, you gotta turn the heat down a little bit.
Yeah, I give her the blob, buddy. I don't know. I've done baby tacks on aluminum before. I know where that gets you. Right back to the tacking table. I built the intake on your truck.
I know.
Had about 7 pieces assembled. Accidentally sneezed, damn thing fell apart.
Dang, is it aluminum?
Oh yeah.
She's bringing up down, baby.
Don't look too close. Before he tacked that one, he'd clean that edge up. And the goal's gonna be to come this way. It does look like we're gonna need to add.
Let me cut that off first.
Yeah, let's cut it. Trick here is to make sure we hit center. 3 7/8 is the sweet spot. Is this? Do you squeeze? Oh, I see. Unpopped our tube there, but we gotta clock this some. Dang, I like that. That makes it nice and easy. We're gonna have to clock her way up though. Oh, don't do that. Dang it. I squeezed too hard. Overachiever. My turbo's falling apart. Help. Damn, no diesel mechanic, baby. Dang, that is a snap ring and a half. That's the old tooth buster there. Armed with the knowledge of how much grip we needed, I was able to put that back on, and I got her clocked to where I think we're gonna be able to make it work. Over here, the battle continues. We were gonna do that straight piece, and then we opened up a kit to get a straight piece and realized the 45s that come there were the super long editions. So now we're trying to straight shot that one piece. This tack's gonna be awkward. Don't tell our wives.
Or do.
Well, it'd be nice if I could get them tacked. Don't move, buddy.
Oh my God.
Yo, she tacked now. She ready for the old high performance diesel drag pulls. Woo! Like me trying to give myself that shot earlier.
Yeah.
Now it's me that the testosterone kicked in.
Yeah, it's all crazy.
I'm over here eyeballing this and she jogs out. So we can either jog or pipe, which ain't gonna be super fun, or we can relieve this and kind of a little bit. We're cut up by that machine lip right on the back side, and we're gonna take about 3/8 of an inch out of it, a little pie cut style, so we can her over. She will.
That'll do.
I think this is the first time I've ever welded cast aluminum.
Just checking them off there.
Oh yeah. Mama didn't raise no punk. Y'all better quit playing with me. And falls off. All custom speed parts here at the P&S Performance Center. Get the custom port and polish inside. Not mad at it, guys, for being my first one. I ain't saying it's perfect, but it ain't terrible. I've seen a lot worse. So that one clamped on there. Over here, we're going with a straight coupler right to this 90. It's a shorter 90, but it's the perfect distance to ka-chow, hit right there. And then we got the long 45, which is pert near perfect distance thanks to this sucker now. Guys, I think we can cut off that bead and butt that up and tack it, and that may be all she needs over here. And if anything, this will be too long, and then we'll have to cut it and re-bead it. Speaking of which, over here we went for a coupler right in the middle, and we just needed a 90 to a 45. So we had eyeballed that, slick cut her down. So she drops down, 45's right into there. We need to bead this side and then weld that up. 38 buckaroos for this bad boy off the Amazon. Give her a crank, take her all the way around, put a little more tension, do it again. Did a pretty good job though. Let's beat it up nice and thick like. Oh yeah. Trimmed her about a 1/2 inch on the intercooler side. Put new bead on her.
Yeah, you do.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Way to do it.
Hey! We're moving on up. It built damn old turbo kits, baby. That's what we do.
One day turbo.
Afternoon turbo kits, one day hell. We start about 12:30. I think it's 6 o'clock. She's ready to build boost. Woo! Throwing it down. This meteorologist putting P-Tang coming at you live. It is coming down, folks. It looks like we're gonna have a gully washer on our hands. I hate getting rained on, so I hope at least one person laughed at that. Woo! The truck's taking some zingers. Low mileage unit, hardly used. Not the Skechers. That's where I draw the line. Don't you do it, Storm. Guys, that was so loud, we can't even talk to you in here if we wanted. About 30 minutes later, Storm's passed through, pert near. And that's all right. Let's go check out our finished product here for now. This is as far as we're making it. Really happy with our 4 days of progress on the Loadstar. It was kind of random to do a bunch of dash stuff and then a turbo kit, but you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Thanks to Slick for showing up. He said he'd been wanting to do a turbo kit. Like I said, I didn't even ask him for help. He just showed up, and I'm thankful he did. We got her knocked out. I'm probably gonna have to get us some Allen head bolts for in here, and I think then we'll clear the weld. But as far as this goes, we probably need to add some type of hanger, like off of here to this with a little like rubber isolator, just to help support that so we don't get stress cracks on that, would be my guess. And then boom, right there we've got a coupler, and then down to our coupler, guys. And then this side, we've just got 1 and 2. She's a little straighter shot over here. So it all turned out pretty stinking good for our first one. And we were just admiring, as I keep using this as a shelf and metal's getting on here and stuff starting to rust, admiring how much our blended fender that we had put on here is really starting to blend and look good. Or like over here where...
How far did we paint it? I can't remember.
We patched right here, and then I dusted the paint out into
This?
super far. Just a little here or there. It's looking good. This truck is just looking killer. We did put this piece back on just to make sure we were going to have clearances. You know, check that after you fully weld out everything. And it looks good too. So the Loadstar, for being a channeled, big, and having all the comforts you can need, like HVAC, turbos, blah blah blah, everything fits pretty respectable and good. Like a lot of room, pretty good amount of room. It's just like right here is super busy. A small sacrifice so everywhere else can be nice and relaxed. Guys, that is it. Thank y'all so much for being here watching the Puddins Fab Shop, supporting where one of my dream builds can come together. Truly means the world to me and my girls. Even like Slick, we were talking about earlier, like going to lunch, just like, man, we really do have it made. We get to work our dream jobs, building cool stuff.
If our wives are watching, it still works.
It still works.
Yeah.
It's so much. Well, yeah, everyone thinks I have it made. I'm like, it's cool. You just work 3 full-time jobs, and it's so easy.
Our wives are like, you guys are always hanging out. Like, yeah, we're always working.
Yeah, we're working.
We're due.
Right.
Thank y'all so much. puddins.fab.shop.com for that good quality merchandise. Guys, I'm just trying to get shirts. Their turnaround time's taking a little longer, so I do apologize on that. We appreciate all the support. You can check us on Instagram, Facebook, Patreon for all the same content, just completely ad-free over there. And much other than that, guys, do not forget that sitting on your ass will not finish your project.